Hi, everybody. Well, welcome to April 1st, 2026. And I was thinking, well, what kind of shows should I follow up with? I enjoyed the discussion we had on the competitive nature of the crowns of plants. I think it's good to have that discussion. And the whole thought process, you don't have to know everything. You can grow into it, just like a plant. A plant grows into who it is. And it grows into its community of who it is and its relationships, and then you grow into that community and relationships as a gardener. So I thought I'd bring a stack of books with and go over the books and what value they've had for me. And you might be saying, geez, Roy, why don't you do that in November? Well, I think it's a good time now, because when you get the ones you feel comfortable with to start with, whatever you read at that moment, you might take into a practice this spring in the garden. Not with everything, but you might try a few things. You might see how this affects, first of all, it's not how it affects your garden or the plants. How does it affect you as the gardener that's actually initiating the planting style in the gardens? So let me start with some of the books that explain why they have value to me, and that's really all I can share is how they have brought me into an awareness of plants and continue my search for that knowledge. It's never ending. I said it's like friends. You never stop knowing your friends, and every day you change and your friends change. So there's always more to know about the people you love and care for. So my favorite book, I have to say, I think with such deep knowledge and affection about plants, native plants, is Wildflowers and How to Grow Them. It's a simple statement, wildflowers and how to grow them. It's Edwin Stefik, and this book I think was written in let me get the date here, 1954. And I'll just go through the introduction. It's walking along a country road, so it's observation. He starts with observation. Then it starts how to grow wildflowers. Conservation, public approach, individual conservation, how they grow. Isn't that how they grow? Light, soil, time, and moving of plants. Is that very good? The moving of plants. Then it's propagation, seeds, division, stem and root cuttings, bulbs, corms, rhizomes, stolons, and tubers. And then it goes into part two is the plants themselves. The anemone clan asters, where you can see it's a whole group of woodland and some mesic prairie plants. And he talks about the communities, the open field and juniper communities, white pine woods, water lovers, pond dwellers, bog plants, oak, hickory and woods, hemlock, maple, beech combinations, pine barrens. He covers quite a bit. And then the intimacy of each plant. Let's go look at one. At the anemone clan, and some of the genuses have changed, which they'll continue to do as you go through more DNA processing of plants, but it goes into where they grow, the blooming season, culture, and the species. Like it starts with anemone canadensis and goes into anemone cylindrica, and anemone multifida, and anemone parviflora, and it talks about location, Nova Scotia, the man. It's a very good book. Very good. I think you can still get one online at some used bookstore. I think all of you get this book and take a half hour to go through it first, and then see what part you pause on to start to read and get into more detail. And the best part is, what do you take with you outside as you're gardening, and relate what you're coming to know to the plants. So, good book.
Right.
The second one is Alan Armitage. I think a lot of you probably have this. It's Herbaceous Perennial Plants by Alan Armitage. I think he might have a third edition out now. Very complete. I'll just say it with that. It's very complete on perennials. Native plants are in here. It's a very complete book. It gives you a really good outline of each plant and some propagation tips, but mostly a good differentiation between baptism, everything. Really good differentiation between the plants. So I recommend this as a good book on perennials. All right. One of my favorite book on perennials is Graham Stewart Thomas, Perennial Garden Plants. Alan Armitage's book is very complete. This one, the beginning of the book, the way Graham Stewart Thomas writes, he writes in a way that right away when you start reading, he writes as a gardener. He's not giving you an opinion about a plant. He's not giving you a judgment about a plant. He's giving you the true nature and feeling of plants and plant relationships. So we're going to talk about that a little later, about opinions and judgments of plants. This is a wonderful book. I really recommend getting this. Read a little bit, take your time through it. There's no rush on any of these. If you rush through them, you might as well not get the book, unless you need it to put under a chair to balance a chair or table or something. Don't get the book. And this is an old book, but a new edition. It says on the bottom, completely revised and expanded. It's Tracy Du Sabuto Aust, a wonderful book on caring for perennials. The first edition came out in the 90s. This new updated edition, a very good book. If you want to learn and understand the caring of plants, pruning, timing pruning for rebloom. So it's pruning to promote something, not just deadheading, because that's what they did 80 years ago. And I mentioned when you were doing things that were done and discussed 80, 90 years ago, we got to get out of this history of living in the conversations of dead people. We need to create our own conversations to move into our own future. And this Tracy's new book is very complete, very good. And this could work with you right now as you get into the season. You can look up each plant and get the knowledge, awareness that she had of them, and she shares that with you in a comfortable way. This really good book on sedges. This is the Field Guide to Wisconsin Sedges. I'm just going to tell you, it's a wonderful book and complete book on native sedges of Wisconsin. Identification and location, who they're found, and sometimes who they're found with. But very good book on Carex, sedges, very good. Neil Diblik just came out with this book, The Gardener's Guide to Prairie Plants. Just go buy it. I'm not going to tell you anything. There's not much I can tell you. Just go buy the book, and you'll see for yourself how well Neil knows the plants, understands their growing capabilities, who they are, how they live. So go buy the book. Just get the book. And this book I really enjoy, but I can't understand it completely. But I go through here occasionally, and I thought, none of you will probably read it. It's an intellectual book, but it's very well, there's some really good examples, and it's positive interactions and interdependence in plant communities. It takes me time to understand some of the language, but once you start to see some of these, like I didn't know the responsibility of herbivores chewing plants to let light energy through to neighboring plants, and the herbivores aren't killing the plants they're chewing, but simply it's that relationship between herbivores, their chewing capabilities on certain plants, and how that chewing capability allows the neighboring plants to have a good life because of light energy. And it's on and on with these little things to think about and be aware of. But again, it's a book you're not going to sit down, boy, I can't wait to read this, because it's intellectual, but yet there are little things in here that will cause you to pause and think, I never thought about that. I never thought about these intimate relationships not only plants have, but insects and creatures that live with them. Nice book. Down to the last one. It's called Ways of Being, and it's by James, I think it's Bridle. A very good book. It's Ways of Being, Animals, Plants, and Machines, the Search for a Planetary Intelligence. And I rarely do this. Well, I never do it, actually. I'm going to read you something that was in the book, because it's going to lead into our next show, which is going to be about the awareness of who plants are in relationship to the awareness of who we are as gardeners. So there's part of the book, and it was taken from, and he wrote this from another book that he had mentioned, and it's about awareness, how we're aware of things within our own human time as compared to the time of of other living things and the time they have and how they live within their own time. So it says, here we go. Buckle up, okay? Aliens land on Earth. They're little runts, as aliens go, but they metabolize like there's no tomorrow. They zip around like swarms of gnats, too fast to see, too fast that Earth seconds seem to them like years. To them, humans are nothing but sculptures of immobile meat. The foreigners try to communicate, but there's no reply. Finding no signs of intelligent life, they tuck into the frozen statues and start curing them like so much jerky for that long ride home. I thought that, I just like that, because we relate so many things to the way we perceive things to be on the time and the way we live within time. We don't know really what an oak tree goes through. We don't know what a Sprablus heterolepis goes through in its time and how it lives, and the creatures that relate to it. And I'm not saying that just about I'm saying that's me too. I live on, and a lot of my time is Roy time, which is you have your own time and see things in your own way. So thanks for the time you had today to look at books and think about how they fit into you as a gardener. And then our next show, I think we're going to go into the awareness of plants and the awareness of you as a gardener relating to plants. Thanks, everybody.